Hey everybody. So I thought I would go ahead and make a TBR video. Now, as I've said in a previous video, um my TBRs, I knew they would, when I tried to start one of those, I knew it would fall through if I tried to set like a monthly TBR. But I decided to try again. These are not the book. If you watched my previous video that I posted yesterday, these are not necessarily the books that I picked. I mean, some of them are, but some of these are books that I also just randomly picked because I had the urge to read them. So this is more like a TBR that I just feel like reading these at this moment. So, the first book I have here is one I've already started. I've already started two books. This one is a library book that, and as you can see, I'm not very far in it, but I've read quite a lot of it. So I think I'm gonna probably have to borrow this because I'm going out of town soon, so, and I can't, and I won't be here when the book is due, so I'm going to have to recheck this one out, and this one's going to probably take me a while to read. It's just like when, a while back, a few weeks ago, I borrowed the Bone Clocks, and that one was maybe a little bit longer than this one, or maybe about the same length, I don't know, but it took me a while to read that. I didn't even finish that one. I actually ended up DNFing it because, I mean, it was good, it was interesting, and I definitely, would suggest you reading it, but I was feeling pressured to get it done, and I'm not a person that likes to constantly have to borrow a book, although I might have got through the book within the third set of 2 weeks, because I was almost done. So, but I am really enjoying this one so far. It's basically this girl who her brother died in an accident, and she blames herself, so she's kind of going through a lot of, I think it's kind of PSTD a little bit, and she's like very depressed, struggling in school and failing, and her absent father has come back into her life and is trying to pressure her to get good grades so she can go into a prestigious college, and her only outlet is her music, and the same with her mother. Her mother's only outlet is her artwork, but her dad sees her mom as, like, she needs medicine and all that kind of stuff, so he puts her in the hospital and takes his daughter with him to Paris. And he's hoping that this will give her the space she needed and, a distraction from her grief, and that maybe she can work on, her schoolwork, get better grades. But she's not having it. She's getting really pissed off at her dad because he has no right to just all of a sudden show up. And and then she discovers this diary about this girl from the 1700s, during the French Revolution, hence the title, and is just reading through a diary, and that's as far as I've got so far. It's good, and the chapters are mostly short, but it's a lot of chapters. There's like 80, I think there's 85 chapters, which was actually the same length of chapters as Between Shades of Grey, but I think it might still take me a little longer to read this one than it took me that one. So, but I am enjoying this one. I'm enjoying it a little bit more than the Bone Clocks, I'm sorry to say. And then I also finally started reading this, Six of Crows. And I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to say what's about, because I'm sure most people already know what it's about. But I read the Grisha trilogy, and I just finished Ruin and Rising a few days ago, like, I think right at the end of the month, of last month. So I know people saying you don't have to read the whole trilogy of the Grisha trilogy to get to this book, but I wanted to read it. And plus I was told, there's an interview in the back of the book of Ruin and Rising where she says that there are some hints in this one and the other book that will relate to the Grisha trilogy. I just felt obligated to finish that one first, and then I would read this. So I started this. I didn't get very far because, like I said, I'm trying to focus on Revolution first, because that one I actually want to finish. So I'm as far as chapter 4, not very far. But I've already gotten to the part where Kaz Brecker is given the heist, the job. I love this cover. I love these covers, and I like the whole black pages thing. I think that's really cool, and I'm so glad that there were no softbacks out yet, because I don't think the softbacks would have this. So it was like, the people, I bought this one for myself, and then the other one was a birthday gift. I just mentioned that I showed that in my birthday haul, the sequel. So, which meant that my sister was forced to buy the hardback one. I'm sure though she would prefer to buy me the paperback because it's cheaper, but it didn't have the paperback. So thankfully, obviously, she had to give me the hardback. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to, so this is actually a reread. I read this many years ago, and I watched the movie hundreds of times, even with the commentary, because I'm like obsessed with listening to commentary while I'm watching a movie, and I know it's basically people talking over the movie, but I feel like the movies I watch those with, I've seen the movies enough times that it's okay. So, but I've been wanting to reread this for a long time, and finally I got around to it. And if you don't know, this is Stephen King's horror book about the clown that kills people, the clown that kills kids. He's basically another form of this essence of fear, like it's kind of like a demon. And these 7 children are the only ones who have lived to tell the tale, essentially, and they are the ones that will conquer the demon. They're the ones that are the chosen ones to fight it. And it's basically their story and how they fight this it, or Pennywise the Clown is what he's called when he's the clown. It's really good. They're actually remaking a movie of it, which I'm a little apprehensive about. I try to be open-minded because I know a lot of people aren't as open-minded when people do remakes, and I know a lot of people get very nervous when they make movie versions of books. Because with movie, most movies are 2 hours long at the most. I mean, I know there's like Lord of the Rings, Titanic, Avatar. Those movies were like 3 hours, I believe. And King Kong too. That was a 3-hour. Also by Peter Jackson. Not the original, but the one that came out a few years ago. But most movies are 2 hours long, so they have to cut down the movies, take out a lot of good stuff, and so a lot of people aren't usually happy about that. And they already made this into a miniseries back in the 80s, I think, or it might have been like 1999. I mean 1990. I think, I don't remember. I have to look at my DVD. And even then, there was stuff that they had to cut out, and that was a miniseries, which can be a little bit longer than a major motion picture. So, I am wary of it, but I'm gonna give it a chance because I want to be one of those people that complains like, I won't see this because it's never gonna be as good as the book, or not as good as the original, So I'm gonna start rereading this again. I'm on page 383, and there are over 1,000 pages in this book. I think they're already starting to go back to their town, Derry, Maine. I think they're all slowly trickling back. So I definitely will be looking forward to reading the rest of this. Okay, next. Okay, I'm gonna reread The Night Circus. This is a book I read years ago before I discovered BookTube, before I knew that this book was incredibly popular. So this will be a reread, and I've been, like, ever since I joined BookTube, every so often I come across, like, either Sam from Thoughts and Tomes or someone else will start talking about this book, or we'll be getting ready to read it. So finally I decided it's my time to reread it. I'm very excited about that. And I did read Caraval, so that's another reason why I was kind of eager to reread this book. So that's my other book. And like I said, these are books that I don't know if I'll get to or not, but hopefully I will. But I mean, I'm not exactly a fast reader. I'm not a slow reader, but I'm not a fast reader either. Especially when it comes to books like this next one, North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I have been wanting to read this, which I did start it back in 2015 or 2014. It was a read I read over the summer, but it was during the time of my summer internship, and I was getting up super early, so I was tired. And when it's a book like this with the small print and it's classic, the writing style of the classics, then if I'm tired, I can't read these type of books because it will just go right over my head in one ear and out the other. So I restarted this. This was another one I restarted a few months ago. And I decided to finally come back to it. And the good news is I didn't get very far, and I've seen the miniseries, which I have. So it's not like I'm missing anything. So I thought I would also get back to reading this. I may as well show you this. Also, this is another classic I want to reread. I read this many, many years ago. That's a lot of my rereads I basically read several years ago. Remember, I was really obsessed with this story, and I have the special, a special collector's edition of the movie. And I also have another copy that was a gift by Mom from her own mother, my grandmother, back in 1974 or 79. And I have the sequel, Scarlet, which I read as well. So I've been wanting to reread this one, because so far I've watched the movie more times than I've read the book. Which, I mean, of course that means I've only read the book once. So I want to reread it, and now that knowing that I've already read it all the way through once, hopefully it will make it easier to read a second time. So I don't know when I'll get to this one. But actually when I wrote all these down, when I wrote down the books I wanted to get to, I actually decided to make this a summer TBR, so that's probably what will happen. I'll get these all read during the summer, because I'm not one of those people who read contemporaries during the summer, because I don't really read contemporary that much. So I might not get that done by the end of the month, but I might get that done within the 3 months. But again, this is a lot of books, so who knows. Okay, so then I have The Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood, which I actually read I've never read the book, but I've seen the movie. I really like the movie, and ever since I saw the movie, I have been wanting to read the book. Unfortunately, bookstore, it's not my go-to kind of, I like the story and everything, but it's not like my go-to book when I go to the bookstore. Mostly I go to the YA fantasy section. I don't get, these kind of books that often, but I saw this at the little, used bookstore in our town, for $4, I think. So, that's a pretty good deal. In case you don't know, this is basically about a mother and a daughter and their very flawed relationship. And basically the daughter, who was going to get married soon, she's is struggling with the fear that she might be just like her mother. So her mother's friends essentially kidnap her and show the woman what her mother was like, so that she can understand her mother better, understand why her mother is the way she is, and hopefully will help her understand her own self, and hopefully prevent her from making the same mistakes her mother did. And this is, and that's basically what I know from the movie. Obviously it's probably going to be the same, maybe a little different from the movie, but I definitely want to read this. And I think there's actually some other books. This is actually a series of other books, not an actual companion series of books. But I only got the first one because I didn't want to buy. I'm not one to buy do huge book hauls or anything. So I'm going to try to get to this one. Okay. Alright, so next we have American Gods. I have been hearing about this one a lot lately. And I know that the TV series just started. And if I like this book, I might get into the series. Of course, by the time I get into it, it'll probably be season 2. But I've been wanting to read, I've been wanting to read this, or at least check out some Neil Gaiman. And it sounded really interesting. So hopefully I'll get to this. Might be one of the books I'll bring with me when I'm at my grandmother's house. So that's that one. Okay, now this is basically the closest to contemporary I'll probably get. I mean, I have a few others because actually these are. Oh, I totally forgot I was going to do a book haul and show you all these books. But I just got a bunch of books from friends of ours. An elderly couple has been our neighbors and good friends for a while, and the husband likes to read as much as I do, so he gave me a whole bunch of his books, and this was in there. I have been hearing a lot about the TV series, and my aunt is a huge fan of it, and she's been recommending it to me and my mom. So as soon as I saw it in there, I was like, okay, I gotta check this out. This is Big Little Lies. So I want to read this. Like I said, this is the closest I might get to contemporary. Or at least but actually, it's more like I probably wouldn't read contemporary YA because mostly maybe I'm wrong, but they all kind of, from what I've hear about them, they all kind of sound the same, with maybe different details, like someone's sick, or, it's like a forbidden romance or something. So, and this is more adult contemporary, so it might be a little more interesting. And it's also mine, so it's not like I'm not pressured to get it done within 2 weeks, which is the time limit I have when it comes to borrowing library books. So I'm definitely going to read this one. I don't know. I'm going to try to get to that one. Okay. Now these are some of my more exciting books that I really want to read. This book was actually a Christmas gift this past year. I have all 3 books, thankfully, so I appreciate my friend Terry, getting me all 3 books, getting me the box set, so I won't have to get them over time, because I don't like waiting, because I don't know how long I'll have to wait until I can get the next book in a series, so I try to get all of them, right away. That's what I've been doing with, books like Fallen Kingdoms, and Throne of Glass, all those. So, this is Mistborn, the first book, and again, this is another book people probably heard of, most people probably know about, so I'm not going to summarize it, but, I've been wanting to read this for a while now, but unfortunately, hopefully, it will pull me in right away, because it looks like it might be one of those, because unfortunately, it's one of those small print books. But although I do a little bit better in the fantasy with those, so this is the next one I want to read. Okay, now okay. So let me just show you this one. I started this one a few weeks ago, earlier this month when we went to go visit my sister. I brought it with me, so I kind of got into it. I already, I'm up to chapter 8, so I kind of so I've already read the event that leads up to, that I think kind of starts the plot, gets the plot going, so I've already read that part, but I kind of had to take a break because I wanted to get back into reading the rest of the Grisha trilogy. And right now, this is definitely, I liked what I read so far, so I want to keep going with it. So I got up to chapter 8. I think I already mentioned that. So hopefully I'll get to this one. And then like I said, I'm probably gonna, next time I go to Books A Million, which hopefully will be soon, I will be getting this. The third book is one I might be getting next. So that's pretty good. And then another series that I want to get into, I want to start reading because I got the second one for my birthday, is The Raven Boys. The Raven Cycle technically, but The Raven Boys is the first one. So I'm going to read that one next. Just every time, like, watch the thing about booktubes, when you watch these videos and you hear about these books, or at least me anyway, as soon as I hear about them and I continuously hear about them and they get my attention, they're definitely books I'm interested in, then I want to read them like right the second I hear about them. And this was one of those books I was definitely excited about. Now I haven't read her Shiver or Wolves of Mercy Falls series books, but that's kind of like, I'm getting out of that. I'm not as into the YA paranormal books anymore. I'm more full-on fantasy. So I'm kind of no longer into that kind of stuff anymore. So hopefully this will, I can get into this one, which, although I'm not that hard to please, and considering how it's written and how it looks, it would definitely be a little easier to read than, let's say, Mistborn, for instance. So I'm definitely excited about this one. And I'm gonna try to add some variety and not just bring books like this with me. But I might, this one might be one of the ones I'll bring when I go stay with my grandma for a few days. Okay, last but not least, I'm finally going to start reading some V. Schwab. A Darker Shade of Magic. I already have, what's the other one called? A Gathering of Shadows. I already got that one because I ordered this one online with my gift card, and then I really wanted to, because, well, I was hoping to go to the bookstore when I first got my gift card to use it, to spend it, and then it was like we couldn't go because the day we went, it didn't open until 1 p.m., so I got stuck having to run errands with my parents, and I was a little upset about that. So finally my mom was like, well, you know what, you can just order online. You can always, you can use your gift cards online. So after, getting over the fact that I couldn't go that day, I decided to order this one online using my gift card. And then the next day, my dad was nice enough to take me up to Books A Million. Well, he did his own errands, and that was when I got A Gathering of Shadows. So, and the good news is there's only 3. It's a trilogy, so there's only 3 books. I only have 1 more book to get. So this is definitely one of the books that I want to read, and I'll probably bring them on my little vacation. And this was probably one of those books I was trying to wait on reading, but I'm not very patient when it comes to a book I'm super excited about. So I was very conflicted because I'm the type of person who likes to wait and likes to take her time and not read things right away, because it goes back to the fact that when me and my sister were little, my dad would always say that you don't want to open your presents right away because then it will mean Christmas is over. So I look at getting a new book as Christmas, and so I don't like to, start reading it right away, or because as soon as I read it and I finish it, well, then it's over. I mean, granted, you can reread books, unlike Christmas, where you have to wait a whole year before Christmas happens again. But, so those are all the books I'm going to try to get to, and there actually are some more, but I'm not going to. These are just the books I want to get to, now. So, thank you for listening, and I will see you guys later.